Hey, what's up? It's Patrick. It's Rose via Fire. And I pray this message reaches who it needs to reach. So let's talk about God forgave you, but you didn't forgive yourself. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why people move as though they are not forgiven is not because God didn't forgive them. You know, this is only applying to a specific people that God already forgave. If God already forgave you, but you're moving through life as though you are not forgiven, then one of the reasons could be that you didn't forgive yourself, right? God forgave you, but you didn't forgive yourself, though. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you messed up. You repented to God. You apologized for your sin. God forgave you, right? But you didn't forgive yourself, though. You're still moving as though you are not forgiven, though. You know what I'm saying? Let's say God gave you a second chance. Why are you still living with the first chance mindset, bruh? We on to page 2 now, bruh. We on to page 2. And don't you know how sometimes we be doing this? We be like, hey man, I wish I knew this before. Like, I wish I knew this information before I made this, and before I messed up here, I wish I knew this and that and that. You already repented for that, bro. God already forgave you for that. God, matter of fact, God most likely could have also already gave you a second chance. You already living in the second chance. But in your mind though, it's like you're moving as though you are not forgiven. You know what I'm saying? We're not talking about your words, bro. Because anybody could talk with their words. Oh, I'm forgiven, I'm forgiven. But in your actions, though, are you moving and are you acting as though you are forgiven, though? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, bro, we don't forgive ourselves, man. We got to learn how to forgive ourselves, man. Because what's the point of, like, think about it like this, right? What's the point of holding on to something that God already forgave you for? So now it's like you can't even enjoy the second chance that God is trying to give you because you ain't forgiving yourself. You know what I'm saying? You holding on, bro, to the past. You holding on to your past mistake, but God already forgave you though. God already understood the reason why you did that. You know what I'm saying? The reason why you moved a certain way. God already understand. You already told God the reason though. You already told God the reason why you moved a certain way. God forgave you. It's done, right? Nope. You also ain't forgive yourself. Now it's like you holding this cloud over your head when God already let go of it, bro. Like, it should be done, bro. Like God already forgave you, but you ain't forgive yourself. That's why you gotta forgive yourself. Because forgiving yourself is not necessarily just words. Forgiving yourself is action. And let me tell you something about actions. Bro, the action's gonna show you what the truth is, bro. The action's gonna show you the truth. Like, not the words of what people saying. It's the actions, bro. People talking about, oh, I'm forgiven. People be talking about, oh, I'm forgiven and this and that, right? But people be talking about how they are forgiven and this and that, but the actions show as though they moving as though they not forgiven. Have you ever caught yourself moving as though you're not forgiven though? That's called actions, bro. Your actions is telling you a different story. How many people are really walking around as though they are forgiven for real though? Like, how many people really walking around as though they forgiven though? Like, I'm talking about in actions though. Like, they actions show, yeah, I'm forgiven for real. I moved on from that mistake that I made for real. You know what I'm saying? I moved on from my past sins for real. I'm forgiven for real. Like, how many people really like moving like that? Now, that's not to say that you're not gonna reap your karma for, different sins that you commit. Because there's a lot of sins, you still gonna reap your karma even after God forgives you. God gonna forgive you, but you're still gonna reap your karma for those sins, right? And I learned that from Tiario. But what I'm saying is, There's those things that's just, you just made a mistake, bruh. You know what I'm saying? God just forgave you for that. And like some of them you might be reaping the consequences of it, and some of them you might not, depending on what it is. Like some of these things are just mistakes, if that makes sense. I'm trying to explain it in a way that kind of, hopefully it makes sense. But uh when God forgave you for something, bro, right? And let's say God is really like working on your second chance. It's like now your actions gotta match that second chance. Your actions gotta match the second chance. Don't be in your mind thinking about, oh man, I wish I had moved this way. I wish I knew this information, and in that information side, I wouldn't made that mistake, bro. I wouldn't have made that mistake had I known this and that. Like, bro, we still holding stuff that it's gone, bro. It's past. Your actions gotta show, bro. You gotta literally move as though you are moving in a second chance now. If God decided, okay, I'm gonna give you a second chance, then you gotta act as though you got a second chance. Now, is it easy? It might not be easy, you know what I'm saying, depending on the mistake that you made. It might not be easy, but just because it's not easy doesn't mean that you should hold yourself, you should hold this cloud over your head just because it's not easy. Yeah, sometimes the second chance could be, it could be hard, but you should still move as though you are forgiven. Don't move beating yourself up. You know, just because it's not easy and it's not an easy road doesn't mean that you should beat yourself up. That's not what it should mean, bro. Like, I'm trying to explain this like in a way that makes sense, bro. Like, sometimes, bro, God will forgive us, but yet we don't forgive ourselves, bro. We it's like we don't really let go. Like, sometimes you have to forgive yourself, bro. Literally, sometimes, man, don't you know how many times we want to talk down on ourselves? We are so quick to talk down on ourselves. Oh man, I'm not good enough. I'm stupid, bro. Like, why, bro? Man, I'm dumb, bro. Like, I'm this and I'm that. God already forgave you for all these things, but yet you still trying to talk down on yourself, though. Man, you still ain't forgive yourself, because if you forgave yourself, why are you talking down to yourself? Why are you talking down to yourself for some things that God forgave you over? I'm going to repeat that one more time. Why are you talking down on yourself for some things that God forgave you over? Let me repeat that a third time, actually, bro. Why are you talking down on yourself for some things that God forgave you over? He already forgave you over those things. He already forgave those things. So why are you still talking down on yourself about those things? Man, hey, bro, we got to let go of those things, bro. We got to speak life into ourselves, speak some positive stuff into ourselves, bro. Yeah, we made the mistake, bro, but like, hey, God forgave me over that. And then here comes the devil. And the devil gonna feed off of your energy, be like, hey, man, you ain't good enough for real, man. You ain't forgiven for real. You know the enemy gonna come in just talking that nonsense again. It's like, bruh, we gotta move as though we are forgiven, bruh. If you know you are forgiven, bruh, if you know God forgave you for real, move as though you are forgiven, bruh. Now, the consequences of whatever you did, you might gotta go through a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? Depending on what it is that you did. If it's something light, bruh, you might be cool. But if it's something like, you know what I'm saying? If it's something decent, bruh, you might gotta go through them consequences. But that's just because it's hard to go through that does not mean that you should beat yourself up. Because the second chance is working underneath all of that. Underneath all those consequences, the second chance is activated, bruh. And you gotta act like it, bruh. And you gotta keep your head up, bruh. You know what I'm saying? But that's just basically all I wanted to say, man. Peace.